And of course, it was the kickoff meeting where we're talking about the products for the road to immortality, which includes Age-Fill, TSX, StemOlytic, our new product, and the H2 stick. We've got those together in a pack now, so you get a discount when you buy them. So if you buy them all together, you can buy the three. The three that are really the more important are Age-Fill, TSX, StemOlytic. That covers it. But hydrogen does so much and gives so much power and energy to all the cells and detoxifies because it's probably the most powerful antioxidant there is. And so we decided to throw that in, give a discount, and the discount pays for more. You get, I don't know how much, half or more of the H2 stick for free.
Everybody's doing great today.
We have. So you can do it either way that you want to do it. However, we have one little delay on it. We've got everything made, we've got everything ready to go, but because this is so new, the FDA has extended our certification on heavy metal content. And so all the orders that we took from the event, the Masters event, are going to be shipped out, but they can't be shipped out until it gets FDA approval next Thursday. However, many of you are using that volume, most of you, to qualify for this past month. And so we're going to date it as of when you order it. When we ship it, you'll get credit for last month. So understand when it comes, it won't cover you for this month, but it'll give you the volume and everything you needed for last month, which is, I think, what virtually everyone was attempting to do. It's kind of a crazy thing because the formulation is so powerful and has so many innovative ingredients in it, and they wanted to confirm in the finished formula that there wasn't any excessive toxic heavy metals that are in it. They have certain standards that's there. Well, we could tell you that we test all our ingredients when they come in and make sure that doesn't occur, and it didn't. We wouldn't accept products that did ingredients, so we're sure that it didn't. But they say, well, when you do a finished formula, there are a lot of things added, so you have to do this testing. And since it's a new and out, we've just had a delay of about a week on StemOlytics because of government regulations. Now, we have tested the finished formula ourselves too. We can do it quite fast in the lab, but the FDA has their protocol, and it has to take place over a number of days. And so that's the situation with it. Now, I personally have got some and have been taking it, but, it's just the first one off I get. And I've taken it now for a couple of days, and I can't tell you I see any difference, and I didn't expect to. But I believe, if from what the science says, that you start seeing an effect 3 and 4 months. It becomes visible. So think of it like this, if you want to talk about StemOlytics for a second. If you had a bunch of people sitting in the audience like we did in the Masters event, you can see, and then have all different kinds of hair color that are there with people that are attending. And of course, if you equated that to the different types of stem cells that are around, that's a good analogy, because suppose the stem cells were all colors were doing good except red. And so the red ones would be dormant, they would be toxic, and so you would want to be rid of those. And that's what this formulation does. It seeks out those that are dormant, that are senescent, and they are exuding the worst toxins, the ones that cause most of the major diseases and is the most rapid cause of aging and health damage that you have in your body. So our mission, if you put it in terms I gave you for the illustration, would be out to kill every redhead in the audience, wouldn't we? Because that's the name of the game. Get rid of the dormant ones that are causing all the damage, and it will repopulate with a fresh new stem cell. It's like being born again, a Lazarus syndrome, where it just has a dormant toxic stem cell, which is not just affecting itself. It affects good, healthy cells, stem cells, and other cells all around the body. It causes tremendous amounts of inflammation, et cetera, et cetera. The reason it does that, they think, is they're trying to get the immune system to come in so that it can kill the dormant stem cell. That's part of the way God made our biology, I believe. So anyway, with that, we have looked into this thing extensively and found some ingredients, and I've been working on it for, quite a while. Some of the ingredients, the most powerful, and they wouldn't allow me to bring in the country. I used to bring it in through my previous company, but they say it's too powerful. They want to classify it as a drug. Well, that means that somebody's trying to put a patent in doing it. But as the saying goes, there's more than one way to do things. And so what I did is I looked at, it was an extract, and I looked into it deeper to see what kind of extract was in it, what the active was in that one. So this is the sequence, give you an idea of what we do. The ingredient to start with is quite effective, and it comes from limoline, and that's from the peel of citrus. So citrus, the peel itself has limoline in it. Within limoline, it has an ingredient called pyrrollyl alcohol. Now, it's not like alcohol you drink. It's just that has the alcohol configuration on it. So pyrrollyl alcohol, and that is the very potent, powerful one. And so they banned it. We're surprised. It's legal to use, but we brought some in to try, and boy, the FDA called us immediately. What are you going to use it for? We said, well, we're just testing it. Well, are you going to put it in dietary supplement? We said, well, we'll look at it for skin care. They said, okay, but if you use it in dietary supplement, we're going to be closely watching what you're doing. So you can't afford that kind of thing because it can throw a monkey wrench into what you're doing. So I took a look at pyrrollyl alcohol and did some research on it. Have some good scientists that are very knowledgeable in that, and they were able to isolate the active ingredient that was in pyrrollyl alcohol, and it's called sclereol, and you'll see that listed on the label. So what's in a name? Well, it's as Shakespeare said, what's in a name? A rose by any other name still smells the same, right? And so that's the way this ingredient is. We have the sclereol, which is not banned because it's not pyrrollyl alcohol that's being tested on. It's a more concentrated extract of it, and it makes it more powerful. Now, I tell you this because there's a great deal that has gone into this formulation. Some of the ingredients are being tested by one of the major research center hospitals in the world with it, and they've had very good results with it. That's not sclereol, that's another one of the ingredients. And with that, that's fisetin. So if you look at fisetin, it's probably the most powerful of all of them that's in there for the ingredients. The one thing about fisetin is I looked at their studies, I went through what they're doing, and they found out it has extremely good effect on many of the types of stem cells, but one size does not fit all. That's why we have 8 different, what we call them as StemOlytic agents that are in it. But fisetin is, if you had to say which is the most important, it. But how many of the dormant senescent stem cells don't you want to get? Because they're all getting you. So the answer obviously is, well, we want to get them all. Of course. So I've taken a look at it and came as close as I can estimate and evaluate into making StemOlytic, the formulation, with 8 StemOlytic agents, each covering different varieties of stem cells, and this is our theory, and some crossover. Some will work on one group of stem cells, so will another one. but some only one will work on that. So it's taken a lot of work to bring this thing together. This is an extremely powerful formulation that we have. And I looked at a company that's trying to bring it out, at least on the fisetin with it, because the research that's been going on is so powerful. And some distributor sent me something, and they said, oh, they're using fisetin in there. So I went and I looked it up and saw how much of it was in there, because fisetin is not inexpensive. Well, their product sold for $70. Ironically enough, that's what our product sells for. But the content of fisetin that was in it was 100 milligrams. And we have over 10 times that much in ours. We're like 1,000. In fact, I think we're somewhat over 1,000 that's in ours. So it's the difference in it, how it's like 10 times more powerful in just that one ingredient. Then they used a few other things that, yeah, they probably have some senolytic effects, but they're not near good enough. They're just a means to say, yeah, we have 3 or 4 senolytic agents with it. But one of them I do use, other than that too, but the concentration they use and what I use, they're using 50 milligrams, I'm using 500. So I just tell you this to give you an idea. Our products are much more powerful because they're much more concentrated and they're more diverse. They have different kinds of ingredients in it. So this StemOlytic is really powerful. But what it does, let's say if we were out to kill all the redheads in the audience, okay, with StemOlytic, well, you're not going to get them all at once because there's so many throughout the body. You could have hundreds of billions of those throughout your body, and the longer you live, the more of them that accumulate. So the active ones are dropping off and becoming deadly ones in stem cells, because purpose stem cell, of course, is produce new cells and repopulate the cells that wear out and all your muscles and organs and tissues from the brain on down. Take 67 different types in the brain, for example, of stem cells to produce all of the types of structures that are within the brain. So you can see this is a pretty complicated science, but we're trying to use the KISS system, keep it simple, and make it so it's user-friendly for you. So we've got that, and I think we have a good illustration of how it works. So if you, let's say you're sitting there looking at the audience of redheads, and say you had 1,000 there, and you could take a StemOlytic product, and say you knock down 5 or 10 of them, and then you wait 2 days, because you have one day where the senescent stem cells are broken down by the immune system. They're the key in this thing. And then the next day, the immune system comes in and cleans up all the debris from the cell dying. Now, we're not killing the cells, but what we're doing is the body has its own way of handling these senescent stem cells. But as you get older, you have large numbers of them. If you're over 40, you've probably got as much as 60% dormant stem cells and only 40% operating at various degrees of efficiency. And by the time you're 70, you're down to 2 to 5%. So you can see why people waste away, because the number of stem cells have become dormant, and they're toxic, and they're affecting others and the other cells, and the ones that are there can't put out enough new cells to replace the number that you're losing. And that's the key to aging. In order to end aging, aging is caused from decay and degeneration. So if you can end the decay, and then you can regenerate more cells than what you're losing, what are you going to do? You've ended aging to start with, and you're going to theoretically grow younger. Well, we have a super powerful formulation to do all of that, and we have a video that explains it on how it works. So the age pill is for the the stem cells that are still active, they're called in senescence because they are declining, but they're still active, so the age fills that. Stem cells have telomeres on the tips of the chromosomes. Regular cells don't. The telomeres have to give themselves up as a pattern to weave the replacement chromosomes and the replacement cell that a stem cell is producing, then it divides. Well, when that goes, the telomere units that it took to make it go with the replacement cell, and they're gone. They're not used. They have no use for it except to create that. So the telomere count goes down within the product or within the chromosome in the stem cell that produced it. And so over a period of time, your stem cells are producing all types of new replacement cells, but you lose about 8 to 10% of your telomere units in a stem cell, if it's still alive, every 10 years. So just say if you lost 10% and you went you're put 50 years on top where you get up there 70, you haven't got many left. And what you've done is when you get down to, you're born with 10,000 units on a chromosome, and you're ready to die when you're somewhere around 6,000 or 6,500. So if you can rebuild the telomeres, this is a Nobel Prize was won on this for the science. And if you can rebuild the telomeres, then it increases the duplication rate. Because as the numbers go down, the duplication rate goes down because the body's trying to survive as long as it can. But if you can build them back fast, then they move at full speed, and they move according to the program that they do, and they can go, in theory, on and on and on if you can clean up the cellular debris and damage that's done, which we do all of that in the age pill, of course, or that's our goal. Can't say we do it all because we haven't tested on that, but that's the theory of what we have. So we can clean it up, and then we can support long telomeres within it. And so there's 1-2 products right there, and then StemOlytic comes in. And the ones that have got dormant, they're creating so much harm, and it just starts targeting the redheads and just getting rid of those. You got to kill off the redheads, so to speak. And it's a funny way of looking at it, but it gives you an easy way to make an example of what it does. And so say you're sitting there at 40, age 40, and you have 40%, and you see how big the differences in aging goes from 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40. That's where it's really quite significant, 40 to 50 even more so. So it's just this degeneration that's continuing on. But if you're 40 years old and you're 60% dormant, suppose you could restore 5% or 10% every year, that you could do that. Well, it would put you back on the fast track to where all those dormant toxic ones now would be removed, and young viable stem cells would pop up, just like if you have a rose that loses its blossom, you just snip the rose off the bulb and it will grow a new rose. The principle's the same with StemOlytics in the stem cell. But what we are actually doing is supporting the body's biological systems to make that happen. We can't say that it does it directly, or that throws us into a drug category. So remember to say that the body or the cells have this mechanism within them, and when they become toxic, the immune system is supposed to remove them, but it gets worn out too, the immune system does, and dumbed down so it can't identify them. So what we do is we put an atmosphere within the cells, within the circulation system, through all of the cells that are there, to where they can trigger what's called, the immune system can, apoptosis. And if these optimal ingredients are right, that's what these 8 senolytic agents are, then the immune system can come along and trigger apoptosis, which is cellular suicide, and the cells die. And so that's the theory that we're working on with this, and I can tell you the science is good, and we're doing it to the max and then some. Where I looked at this other one, I looked just at Phycetin, and for the price they were selling it, we had 10 times more in ours, plus a lot more of other things. There are a lot of people that will be into this and be doing things as it goes on, but nothing like what we're doing. The scale we have, the power of the ingredients, the cost of the formulation. Well, we make our own products, so we're able to do that, and we have that margin we can throw of manufacturing would pay other companies to make a product for us. In fact, we private label for hundreds of different products for companies that we do. None of our formulas, of course, but and most of them are pretty weak. That's what they want. They have a target point on money, what it costs to do, and what they're going to sell it for, and so they compromise the formulations greatly. That's almost the case with everybody, except us. We don't compromise anything. We take it to the max with everything, because after all, what are you buying? You're buying hope and hype, or do you want hope and reality? And that's the choice, and we make that so you don't have to make a choice. If you trust Sisel, trust the science, trust us, we're doing it the right way. So that gives you sort of an overview on what's going on with this.